Hi, how are you?
Doing good. Yeah, I went out for one too. I saw your text and I was like, oh, I don't want to drive kids to school today. Keegan has a Regents later, but I think Hannah's going to drive them. So they went out for a run. And then we got a long car ride later because I got to drive Hannah down to Chestertown for her orientation called
Oh,
Flock Together.
together. Be cool. So is she excited?
Yeah. It's crazy, right? This time of year, it does not stop. So yesterday she had an award ceremony. We were talking about this, how if she didn't go to such a big school, we wouldn't have to be at the school. Like we're very blessed and the kids are awesome that they have won awards and everything. But every single class year has their own I think the ninth and 10th grade do it together, but every other class year has its own awards night. And then this one that she had last night is an additional one because they do, I don't know if your school does the seal of biliteracy and the seal of civic readiness. And
Um,
then,
album. Yeah.
yeah, Shen's only been doing it for, I think, 5 to 7 years for the different ones. And then there's also a career and technical one that they give out. So those were all done last night. Luckily, that one was really short. And then she has to go on Thursday for the Elks Club because she got an award through them. And then she's got graduation on Friday. So it's just something every day. It's going to go.
Yeah, we're ramping up. Emma has some of her last practices for synchro because next week is Junior Olympics, and which is up in Ann Arbor. So
Wow.
So we're gonna have we're going to synchro tonight, synchro on Wednesday. Then my family starts coming in Wednesday night. Family comes in on Thursday, and then the last little bit of family comes in on Friday. And then Luke's graduation is Saturday, and then his party's on Sunday. And then people are heading out on Monday. We got one day, and then I've got to drive her to Ann Arbor
Wow.
next week, and she's there. They compete on Thursday, and
Okay.
we're doing both her solo and her group or her team programs. If they qualify, then they'll swim on Saturday. And even if they don't qualify to score, I think they're letting 16 teams, they're letting 12 teams through, and the 13th team swims as a warm up for the judges to like their judging. So like they swim, but they don't get scored. So there's the potential that she could just swim on Thursday and we went to Ann Arbor for one day, or she swims on Saturday and then like we couldn't get the hotel for Saturday night to send his family out that way. So we might stay with them or we might just drive home. It just depends on if she swims and she's gonna swim before noon, then I think we'll just hop on the car and head home. But if she's gonna have to swim in the afternoon, then forget it. We're just gonna have to stay over and then head out on Sunday morning. And then so it's pretty much like you said, nonstop, and it's good and exciting. And I've learned a little bit from Timmy's experience. So like I've started decorating already for the house, got some things up. I one of those banners where it's the test of motherhood, really. It's like kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade. Did you hold on to all of them?
Oh, yeah.
So I went into, because I have a bin for the kids. I try to limit everything to just one bin. Like the bin's pretty big. It's like overflowing. I really need to go through there because you know how it is as a mom. You think, oh, like I'll save this. I'll put it in a scrapbook eventually. Oh, I'll put it in a scrapbook. I pull out Luke's scrapbook out of his bin. There's just like his birth page is done. It is on preschool and then nothing else. Everything else is piled into this bin, like award papers and this and that. And I want to maybe do a goal of, because I didn't do Timmy's. Timmy's bin still looks like that. We took work my way through. I should probably start with Timmy's and then do Luke's and then get Emma's pretty much, because I'm learning as I go. I'll get Emma's pretty much set. She's a junior. So maybe my goal will be by the time she hits senior year, her actual book will be complete so that I can actually set it out during her graduation party. So like when I pulled it out, I was like, oh, great. I could put this out as a table. And then it's proposed like this. It's there's no pictures in it. And it stops at preschool. The third time Luke did preschool because Luke was he's a December birthday. So he ended up being able to go to preschool to turning 3 and then did it 3, 4, and then 4 to 5 before he did kindergarten because he's the 14th. So it's December 1st. Yeah. Yeah. You think you just think you're going to have all this time. And
Yeah.
I think about all the times I was sitting on the couch watching Netflix that I should like working on scrapbooks or instantly, if I'd done it for once a month, I did something in each of their scrapbooks. I could have gotten them completely put together, but that's not how life goes.
Yeah. Now, and you have 4 children, so that's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, and every time I go to do this, at least I've done it, but every time I do it, I think to myself, did I order those pictures? Because if you forget or you don't put the order in or you don't, because now the way that a lot of this stuff is online, so it's like, yeah, QR code it and then remember to do it. I was worried that Mikey wasn't going to get a yearbook. I was like, I didn't remember whether I ordered 3 yearbooks in the fall. And in the fall, I try to write it down now that, yes, you have ordered the yearbook, like, because it'll be like this thing that shows up in your email and pass it. And you're just kind of, oh, you did.
And you order it in October, I swear. That's when it goes out. And one year I didn't order it and I was in a panic mode because they sold out and they didn't have extras and I was getting so frustrated. Eventually, I think we got one, but it is the most irritating thing that in today's day and age, it's there. Somebody has the file. Just like, why can't somebody go in from that company and just produce another one? Or they should be able to go back in time and say, oh, I'm missing this year. This year, can I order this year? Like, it's very frustrating. And it's why is this the case only with yearbooks? And at our schools, because we have 8 elementary schools, we have 3 middle schools, and then we have technically 1 high school, but they're in 2 separate buildings. But everything is organized and there's 1 principal and then so it's really just the one high school, but they all do their own versions of the pictures and the yearbooks. And I'm like, what company am I supposed to be looking for a receipt from? Sometimes it's Jostens, sometimes I think for yearbooks, because I think it's only Jostens, but then the pictures, sometimes Life Touch did it, sometimes it was Upstate Images. And it was so hard to
wasn't Life Touch the one that was in the Epstein files?
Yeah.
I know. As all this information kind of comes back around. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure, wasn't Life Touch the one that also would send you those in the packet? There'd be these little cards like "Child ever went missing." I think they were the ones that made those. Like, that's so wild. They had all those pictures for all those and their location, what school they worked to, and yeah, dangerous, crazy, yeah. But I know what you mean because my kids' school, there's 3 elementary schools, 1 middle school, 1 high school. The high school, the middle school, and the elementary schools all use a different vendor for pictures. So I've got 2 in the elementary school, 1 in the middle school, 1 in the high school. Those were all coming from different places.
Yeah.
Order the yearbook from different places. Like the high school is the Jostens or whatever. Yeah. So once they get to the high school, and then the other thing is that the picture packages would be different, which was always so annoying. Like the middle school or the elementary school had a picture package where you could get magnets. And I really liked the magnet picture. It's great. You just plop it up there on the fridge. Fabulous. Done. But I couldn't get the magnet picture for all of the kids because there was no offer for the magnet of that same size. And then sometimes you get a 5x7, but the picture frames that I had for the kids were like the 4x6. So then you're trying to center the picture in there and like half your third cut off because their picture's way bigger than it's supposed to be. Luke has a menagerie of pictures up there. They're all school pictures, but they're all different sizes. And it is what it is. But it's the plight of the mother to try to figure all this out. And I think maybe by the time I get to Mikey, I'll have this all figured out. And like, but we did some tours. We did some college tours. We're full steam in it. We're just kind of I didn't have any clients that day, and Emma didn't have an exam, and Tim was able to come out with us. We went to Ithaca. We saw Cornell and we saw Ithaca College. So that's very exciting. And the weather was crazy. We got there and it was like bright and sunny. we start touring and the clouds start rolling in, and then we had to shelter in place because there's a tornado warning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Let's see, what day was that? Because we had tornado. I think it was all over the state. There was
Yeah,
crazy,
yeah.
crazy weather.
It was Thursday. Thursday last week. Is that right? I think it was. Yeah. I have my little planner out here. Yeah. And then we went to Cornell all day, and then we came home, and then of course Luke had an award ceremony. And the funny part at the award ceremony is we knew he was getting this one particular running award. He already won it at the actual event that they do, the event that the award's named after. He was presented with it. And so we're sitting there, and there's this other award, and as they start describing, I'm like, that sort of sounds like Luke, but it was like it was all like all the coaches could nominate a kid from their team. So I was like, Luke's probably not going to win this. And then they announced his name, and I was like, oh my gosh. And like Luke didn't even know what the award was for because he was sitting there talking to his friend because he didn't think he was going to win anything else. So,
Oh, well, congrats to him.
yeah. So it was like a leaderships and sports kind of thing, like the captainy kind of kid and someone who brings along the younger people. And that's kind of Luke's thing. He loves kind of encouraging the whole team to be a team. So
Nice.
yeah, so it was very good. It was, and like I said, like you said, it's just like every single day there's a little bit of something that needs to happen. But Luke is done with school, so there's exams or anything like that. So he's enjoying the sit around life. I'm trying to encourage him to get out and run because it's been like a week, and I'm like, you're gonna start detraining. I'm like, or you've already started detraining. I'm like, you really need to make sure that you're doing something. Yesterday, he helped decorate. So there was more decorations. We put a couple more things together. We cleaned out the garage, and we're going to have that space for the party. Doing the party here at the house. That's what we did for Timmy. And we're doing it the day after the graduation because we have so much family in town. We're just trying to have the big party so everybody can enjoy it. And so we bought a bunch of decorations. Just trying to clean the house and get prepared. I got to put in a BJ's order and order up a bunch of stuff and all that good stuff. And the caterer just got back to me, so I paid that bill.
Yeah.
And that was like something I was panicked about. I wrote them yesterday, or no, I think I wrote them last week at the end of the week. I was like, just checking in, is everything all set? And then she wrote me, just review the menu and just make sure there's anything you want to add or subtract. And I was like, nope, that looks good. So I was just like, I was panicked about that because that's the main food.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, now that I've paid it, they're definitely coming. They're definitely making it. So I don't have to worry about that anymore because that's definitely the stuff of nightmares. Like all these people show up and like you only have a couple of things that you were going to make. Because the only things I'm going to make are like mac and cheese. I'll make a couple trays of that because that's easy to do myself. And then my sister was going to make some salad, and my mother-in-law was going to do like a fruit tray with all different types of fruit. Luke doesn't like fruit salad. He's not a fruit.
Oh, okay.
So he likes fruit kind of separated and in its own kind of space. He chose pineapple, watermelon. What was pineapple, watermelon, grapes, and one other thing. I forget what the last one was, but yeah. But he doesn't.
That's good.
Touching.
Okay. That does make a difference, right? A fruit salad does kind of mesh together and create its own little
Yeah, it's on juice, and like some people do bananas and orange.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot more than I want in how my fruit to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Back on a rowing, a little segue. Emma Cox last night in the rain.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh my gosh, you should have seen her. She got home from her cross country coach is doing captain practices right now. So she had captain's practice after she didn't go to an exam yet. No, she didn't go to an exam. She had an afternoon exam, so she went to captain's practice after. So she ran out in the rain. She gets home, she's like, it's so cold out. Are we going to do rowing? It's raining. We still row in the rain. She's like, what? And it's just like, we're gonna go change my clothes and then go sit in the rain. And I was like, yeah. Why can't we cancel this? And I'm like, that's not how it works. Not how this works. So we had 5 people last night. So one person, she has a single. So she single. We have 4 people in the 4, which we rowed in the 4 before, which I don't want to say it was a disaster, but it wasn't. It's not easy to row a 4 if you don't have 4 very similar people in there. So
yeah,
similar as far as size and skill level and just basic understanding of what needs to happen. But it went pretty well yesterday, even though it was raining. And we kept telling them, I'm like, the rain is good because it settles the water. It's probably the best water we've had because it wasn't windy. I mean, it was a nice rain that was coming straight down, no breeze at all. It's the perfect conditions if it's going to rain. Then that we were wet, we were soaking wet, but it wasn't a downpour either. It was like a gentle, summery kind of rain, not cold. So I was telling Emma, a lot of times when it rains like that, you could get really cold. So I had her wear gloves. It was just like, you're just sitting there in one spot, you're going to get cold. It went really well. And what I was having them do is just gliding the blades like on the water and then turn and catch, because they all had very different handle heights. And that's something that newer people, they had, and it's a combination of intermediate and experienced on Mondays. So the intermediates are only people who've been rowing for a year. Experienced are people who've been rowing. Intermediate or more people who finished, learned to row, but haven't been rowing longer than a year. Are intermediate. They go immediately from and learn to row to intermediate. And then intermediate or experienced is someone who's been rowing, who's rowed a full year. So they can be experienced, which then creates like this really, that there can be a wide range. Like some people who are there they've rowed for years and years, and then there's some people who it's their second year. So that's a wide range of people, but they did really well. I really liked how they handled gliding the blades on the water. And if I had more time with them, if it wasn't raining, I would have kept them out longer. We came in a little bit early. Everybody looked like a wet dog. I was like, you guys want to go past the dog? Because we still had another 20 minutes. Like, no, let's go on. But if we'd had that additional 20 minutes, I probably would have done a little bit of drill work. We got to the point where they could glide the blades on the water and keep the boat balanced and catch together. I would have gone a little bit further. We were starting to do a pause drill at arms away.
Okay.
Pausing at arms away and quarter off the water. They were doing that and they were getting that going. I probably would have gotten them to half of the distance off the water, and then the full normal distance off the water is probably where I would have gone with that drill, and then practice getting them to catch appropriately with it's off the water. But it's just tough.
Oh.
We had one woman who she looks the same height as everybody.
You were mentioning this, yeah.
But when
she's got a short torso.
Yeah, she's like a full head shorter than everybody's. I remembered to bring the seat cushion. It was so funny because she was in the right positions. She looked a lot better. Her technique was better. It just goes to show that if you don't have someone in the proper setup in the boat, they can never do the stroke the way you want to see it as a coach. So don't always blame the person. Make sure as a coach that you're thinking about, how can I get this person positioned more appropriately so that they can do the stroke appropriately. So I gave her I brought one of those workout squares. I cut it up with a little jigsaw thing, got it the right size. We taped it to the seat, and it was a solid, like half an inch, 3/4 of an inch worth of cushion. And it was perfect. She was
good.
All of a sudden she's the same height as everybody else. And she just looked so much better. And she was getting her blade in the water. She was getting her blade in the water so much she was pulling the boat around. I was like, we totally had the opposite problem the last. Couldn't put her blade in the water. We were like veering towards the shore the whole time. This time we're like veering towards the middle the whole time. So it was just good. And I always think of that as a nice solid coaching lesson, that like always make sure you get the setup as spot on as you possibly can, because it makes such a huge difference to what someone's going to be able to do. And she had a great practice. She came off.
She could feel it.
She could feel it. She came
Yeah.
Are like all smiles, and like we're able to work on. There's little nuances of she's still, because she's remembering how hard it was to get the blade in the water before, she's still kind of gripping at the catch, bending her elbows. And I'm like, nope, just put it in the stick, keep those arms nice and long, push with your feet. And she's like, wow, I could really feel the whole push with your feet thing. She's like, I keep my arms out there. And I'm like, yeah, it gets easier once you're in the right position. When the blade's way too high and you're sitting low in the boat, like you feel like you're going to have to bend your elbows to get the blade in the water. So it was definitely a win for her, an experience for Emma. And I had my rain suit, so I was fine. I need to buy Emma a rain suit to wear. It's definitely needed as a coach or a coxswain to have a good quality rain suit so you can stay dry and not be completely miserable, especially in the summer. It's not miserable when it's raining in the summer, but it's just, you just don't want to sit there in cold, wet clothes the whole time.
So How is docking this time around?
A little bit better.
Okay.
No, we still went through because there's a lock, and we still went through the proper side. We went right hand rule and stayed. I had her continue out, and then I had her bring it down to just arms and body for like as soon as she got past there. And I said to her, I was like, have them do arms and body very light, because at this point you've done a whole practice, so everybody's getting their blades in the water. I'm just like, have them move really light through the arms and body, so the boat's moving at a pace that you can control and you can make changes. And then when you need a hard stroke, you can ask one of those people to just give just a little bit more as they pull, and that's probably enough. There was someone on the dock. They were probably a good foot away from the dock. It was a little bit better, but I'm still thinking in my head that maybe they need to go through the other side of the lock and be far out from the dock, and so the dock's over there, so that she can go into it at an angle and then turn, because I just think the angle is just too sharp. The way that it is, it's angled away from center, and the tip of the dock sticks out. And so you need to bring the boat like all the way around. There's not a good way to do that, especially because when people lean away, it's going to move you away from the dock. From almost like it might be appropriate to go through the opposite side and then dock.
So when you say go through the lock, they literally are going through the lock and they're
Well, it's
waiting
like
for the lock to.
typical lock drop down things. You know how in the canal there's locks that are like step locks, but these are the ones that just are little. I don't know when they put them down. I think probably when the canal is closed, they use it in order to help with draining them. But like
Okay.
a picture, I don't know if I have a picture, but it's just the ones that are like the straight up and down one. It's not an actual lock, but I don't know what those are called.
But they're not waiting for a lock person to open
No,
the lock and then getting
no,
in the water razor. No.
it's like a bridge. There's a pedestrian that goes over, and then but it's also its own little bridge thing, so that there's a pylon in the center. It's just a really funky setup
Okay.
with the pylon in the center, because it has these doors that can come down, and
I'm
it's
looking
just
to see if I could see it on the Google Maps.
yeah, with my phone over there. Because I thought I took a picture of it. I could show you. It's just weird. And the position of that in relationship to where the dock is just tough also.
Where is the boathouse located? Is it
It's
in
in
Corbett Park?
Brockport. Yeah, it's in Brockport, New York. And then it's by the university. So if you look at SUNY Brockport on Google Maps and you zoom in, you might be able to see it. Let me see if I can pull it up too. But it's just the positioning.
So Brockport Pedestrian Bridge?
That might be it. Brockport, SUNY Brockport.
Oh, it's like a curvy bridge. It almost looks like a roller coaster.
Yeah, so there's the curvy bridge, and then in front of that is the canal doodad thing.
The canal doodad.
I know I have a picture of it somewhere. Okay, let me see. Here we go. This is it.
Oh. Oh, okay.
You see it? There's these thingies, and
Yep.
so
They stay up.
they stay up. And
Oh, okay. So
so
they're not coming down and you're not waiting for them to raise and lower.
no,
Okay.
this is the picture. The dock, this is the other way around, but if you could imagine if the dock was over here, the dock's way over here. So we're coming out, we're leaving the dock right now. And but because the dock is far away and off to the side, it just really makes it super awkward. Yeah. And with the pylon is probably where you would want to be in order to dock. And it's just like it's there in the middle, so like on the side. Next time we go, that was actually the end of spring one, or spring, I guess spring one, because they didn't do an early spring. So their spring session's over. We have no rowing next week. The following week, it starts back up with intermediate and experienced. And you know what we should do right now is you can help me brainstorm.
Okay.
See the difference between, because they're trying to list out skills that each level should have. And so There's a learn to row, intermediate, there's experienced, and then there's race team.
Okay.
So I'm tasked with writing up the skills for experienced.
Okay.
And like I said, the learn to row are people who are brand new, just starting to row. After you pass learn to row, you become
Mhm.
intermediate.
Okay.
After you've done a year, you become experienced. So I'm gonna get out my little notepad here and write these down because you help me brainstorm. What do you think would be, knowing that this person has rowed, they've done learn to row, and they rode for a year, what would be the expectations as far as drills and abilities and things that they would know? What are your thoughts on that?
That's hard because I'm thinking about my experience working with masters, and some of them, a lot of it comes down to where did they start the process, like athletically, right? Or like fitness wise. So, and then just like and I think age wise too, like the further you get from your teens and 20s, if you hadn't been in like any kind of fitness or any kind of experience with sports or working out at all, like
Mm.
you're gonna not be so familiar with how to move your body and how to like what your body's doing when you're not watching what it's doing. And so it's like a longer journey, right? Than somebody who's been like we had a couple, maybe it was like last year, the year before, there was a woman who she actually was a trainer for rowers for the Orion group, but she had never touched a boat. She had never been in a boat, but she remembers that like she was learning and it was like her second day in the boat and she was saying, "Oh, okay, we used to say this all the time and now it's starting to make sense that it's like a deadlift." And she's, I get it. It takes a little while, but once you start to apply that, like she knows that, right? Really hard to like categorize, but I guess I understand why you would want to have some kinds of things put in place to say if you feel
Yeah.
like you fit this, then you fit more of an experienced rower. Yeah, I would say knowing some of the rules of the river, I would say that's important for a club like ours because a lot of times they try like the coaches like to try to mix it up and not have everybody that knows how to bounce here all the time. So they might throw you for a loop and put you in that seat.
Yeah.
Although people do complain and always
Bring them more sweet boats.
yeah. So that doesn't
So
matter as much maybe, but I guess terms that you should know, right? The basic terms.
I would think if I asked you to sit at the finish, you would sit at the finish. If I asked you to sit
Yeah.
at the catch. So
Okay.
I'm gonna break this down. So sitting at the finish and catch appropriately when called. Uh,
It's really hard to be in a boat with somebody who can't make it to a certain distance, right? They're just like, I can't, I have to take a break, right? So I think that kind of goes
someone who
into
can
some kind of
row,
experience.
yeah, someone who can row continuously for how long? Like 15
Say
minutes?
a half an hour.
Let's say 30 minutes. Okay. So like 30 minutes at steady state, if we're gonna if it was gonna be like we're because this is experience. So this is the step before race team. You would think that this group would be able to, yeah, I think continuously for 30 minutes at steady state without a water break would be,
Yeah, without a water break, because typically, and I don't know how your waterway is, like if there's just not enough space to row continuously without stopping at all, because
oh yeah,
that would
yeah,
make sense, right? If you had to turn around at a certain point, or typically how long you're doing pieces, like the longest duration. But I would say, yeah, half an hour with, and that might be like you're doing your warm up, then you're doing your first piece. And if your first piece happens to be a half an hour steady state,
yeah,
and then you're going to turn around and do another one home, and that's your workout, like
yeah,
you have to be able to do that without somebody saying, I need I need a break.
yeah. And you saying warm up makes me think that this person needs to know the pick drill. They need
Yeah.
to know
Yeah.
the pick drill. They need to know reverse pick without having to have it explained. Without,
Most common drills, if you guys do a lot of cut the cake or
yeah, as
pause.
common drill. So cut the cake placement drills, and pause drills. Okay. So that makes sense. I would think you'd have to carry the boat comfortably. You'd have to be one of those people who is not like, ooh, the boat's heavy. This hurt my shoulder. Like that. I think that's more of learn to row and intermediate kind of things to say. Someone who's experienced shouldn't have any difficulty like rolling the boat overhead unless there's some type of accommodation of some sort. So if you're someone who the coach already knows, we have one lady who had a bad elbow, and so I had to help carry the boat for her. Like if you're free of accommodation, you can carry the boat without assistance. So if we are free of accommodation.
We have a variety of, like I said, ages and abilities and sizes. And we will sometimes, they'll throw in the tallest, biggest guy, and then he'll be in the boat with the smallest, oldest little lady. But it's like, but they're in the same boat and they probably shouldn't be carrying the boat in the same place in the boat, right? But you just have to know, like, how do you stagger your people so that there's enough strength on each end, but that people are lined up so that on the opposite side, you don't have the tallest person and then the shortest person on the other side, right? Knowing that. And so that I think that's helpful too. And they can, yes, some of them are stronger than others, but they can still row in a boat and it still works together.
Yeah. I think an experienced person would know their boat carrying limitation if they have.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. And no one, they would know their boat carrying limiting or limitation. It's the person who thinks they can get the boat overhead that I worry about. You know what I mean? The person who doesn't say anything to me while we're standing on the dock and we're saying up to waist, up and overheads, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that makes me think learn to row and intermediate." So, what else?
So we're really trying to distinguish between intermediate and experience, because I feel like the difference between race team and experienced really comes down to, in my opinion, the desire to race. Like I would not put myself on the race team. I would say I'll be with the experience group. Like I don't want to race. Like
So like
but I could race.
Yeah, like someone who wants to race. I think that's like the number one thing for a race team. Whether they want to race and they have the ability to be there and have attendance and go and go to a regatta, and they're going to potentially train on their own. There might be extra workouts that they're doing on their own to help prepare, because you might only be going to practice twice a week maybe, or once a week or something. So there'd be an expectation that they would be doing more.
And a financial obligation too, a financial and a commitment obligation. Like I think you can't, that's really frustrating if you have a group of people who say, I want to race this race, and then somebody backs out at the last minute, right? Like you can't, that's really hard to negotiate around. So you need to have that commitment, and or to be like, oh, I didn't realize it was going to be extra. Like there's got to be that built in, knowing that this is going to cost something. It's not built into the dues, like it's an additional cost.
Yeah, because it can start to add up, because I mean, some clubs, the cost of the registration, that's something that you have to worry about. And then there might be a uniform that you have to purchase. And there might be some other type of, like, you might have to get a hotel while you're there, depending on where the regatta is. So there's like a lot of extra stuff that kind of comes into going into race team.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what else, because I've been really tasked with just putting up the guidelines for experienced. One other thing that I noticed, like last night, when people got in the boat, they weren't working over their oar while they were like, you know what I mean? I don't know if I could put it under an umbrella of like oar awareness. This is the person who doesn't understand to hold they'll let the oar be free while they're working on their shoes.
Oh, yeah.
They might be the person who is sitting in the boat and they're balancing the boat, and they don't understand they need to turn the back lip of it up while the boat's moving so that their oar doesn't dive in. There's little nuances of things as an experienced rower you were like, oh my God, I would never do that.
Yeah.
Like they do ports get out and then starboards get out. And when the ports get out, like an experienced rower, I would still hold the oar because there's other people in the boat. Like you can't let go of the oar. Like I don't know if I need to put that under the umbrella of oar awareness.
Or safety. It's kind of a safety thing too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We could talk about just like general safety things that are like more.
Safety and setup too. I think
It's not.
newer people, they don't always know, like they know maybe they're learning, okay, how do I move in the boat? But an experienced person also knows in order for us to get out on the water, the coach needs to be prepared. The coach has to have their launch set up and we have to do warm-ups and we have to get our oars down. Like this is not something that somebody needs to tell them, right?
All that. So generally, general safety and setup. So they have oar awareness on and off the water. They know what launch setup means, so they know that there's always a paddle in there.
Enough gas.
Yeah, and the megaphone and life jackets, and they know all that as part of what they know. They know that the boathouse needs to be locked up. Boathouse lockup. What other things do they know? An experienced coxswain, I guess, would have another separate list. Like, I guess they'd be able to call all these things, right? So they'd have to be able to call appropriately. Oh, the other thing the rowers on would be able to do transitions. Okay. You know how bow pair in and two, 1, 2,
Oh, yeah.
like they could do the pick drill with transitions. You wouldn't have to stop the boat in order to do really anything, transition between any drill. You can go right from rowing into a drill and back to regular rowing without having to stop and reset. I guess I'll call that transitions. Because I expect that from a learn to row group or an intermediate group that you'd have to, like between each drill, we'd have to stop and reset and get everybody ready to row and then call row. But an experienced group being like the coxswain and the rowers being able to go from pick drill to reverse pick to some pause drills and then bring it up on their 30-minute piece. Like that would be something that, unless there's an obstruction in the water, there wouldn't be reason to stop. So transitions through drills. I'm trying to think of what else. What else would make an experienced rower that we haven't talked about? We talked about knowing positions. We talked about rowing continuously. We talked about knowing the warm-up without explanation and common drills without explanation. Knowing their boat carrying limitations, and they would know general safety and setup, whether that's oar awareness on and off the water, launch setup. They'd know how to bring the boat down, the oars down, boathouse needs to be locked up, and they could transition through drills.
I think that covered quite a bit, and I feel like it covers people in a wide range of abilities too, which is what because you wouldn't want anyone to feel frustrated that they would never be able to get into this group, right? Because they're not the strongest person, right?
Yeah.
But I think even the not strongest person could still achieve all of these things.
I think so too.
Yeah. So I feel like this is a good list.
And we are also talking about, I had some pictures. Let me see if I can find the picture. And thank you, US Rowing. I will give you guys the props on this if I can find it. These are some old papers that I had from, let me see if I can. So this is the US Rowing Junior Women's Rowing Technique Evaluation. I don't know if you can write it down. So what it basically is, there's one sheet for, I think this is the sheet for the catch. So this is called catch transition. So it lists a bunch of different things. At the top, it says the seat. And so this is catch transition. So at the worst, which is a number 5, it says changes direction before locking in. So before the blade locks in, you would score somebody a 5 if they're rowing it in. Then it has a 4, and then it has 3, which is the best, which is well timed. And then 2, which is stalls with arms and body grab.
Okay.
And then 1 is also the worst. So the middle is the best score. I don't know. I would probably change up the scoring so that you could potentially take this and score someone, have a number, and then I don't know if you want the number to be lower to be better or you want the number to be higher to be better. You're getting more points. I think it might be higher to be better, might be the best way to create it. But what's neat is it talks about initiation. So do they shoot the slide? Is it good leg initiation, or do they grab with their back and shoulders? And then the blade, too much backsplash, well timed, and then rose it in or skies.
Some of this vocabulary would be good to know that somebody understands it. If as a coach you're giving corrections or directions and they don't know what you're talking about. With the kids, and it could just be like a difference in coaching, but Chris was talking about rowing around the pin. And Hannah's, what does that even mean? So it's something that her coaches have never used before. It's just like whatever terminology is popular. Are you still there, Adrien? You're kind of frozen on my screen. Okay.
My back?
Your face is frozen, but I can still hear you.
Oh no. Do I have a silly face?
Oh, it's actually very serious. Oh, there you are. But yeah, some of this terminology, I was just thinking, even just with the oarlock and the collar and how the seat is positioned, just that sort of thing would be good. Just a quick terminology.
I wrote terminology, oarlock, collar, clam, whatever, pin, gate. What else do we like to say? I talk about handle height, so like kind of standing that.
Yep.
What else? Slide.
Yeah, foot stretcher. A lot of times, a lot of coaches like to talk about where you're putting your foot, like where your pressure is on your foot, like from the toes and then keeping that connection. Oh, it's not really a term because you know what your shoe is and your foot is, but
yeah, connection's a good one because it can mean a couple different things. Like, am I talking about connection through the foot? Am I talking about connection? Are you connected through the drive? Am I talking about connection through the hand? Like, or are you losing connection through the upper back? There's a lot of different places where we can talk about connection. So that's a good one too. Let me look at see. Oh, backing it in. Backing it in.
Getting into a stake dock or stake boat.
Oh, sculling it. Sculling it. Oh, check it.
Yep.
Check it or check it down. What are some other ones? Oh, of course, weigh enough and let it run. And what are you gonna? What is weigh enough going to be versus let it run? Like,
yes, yeah. And I was listening to a podcast. I think it was this week. There was one steady state podcast, I think, and they were talking to a coxswain, and he went to school in Cornell, and he was talking about how there was something different. Like he had to learn weigh enough. I could be mixing two podcasts together, but whoever the person was, they had to learn what weigh enough was because wherever they came from, I think this is the one that he came from, like South Jersey, and they always said let it run for everything, and he had to learn weigh enough. So it's a very funny, like the different terminology to be.
Yeah, like I don't think we said weigh enough in Buffalo.
I couldn't tell you because I knew weigh enough. So
but like when I came to Rochester, like I would say it let it run for everything, and people would look at me like I had 3 heads and lobsters for hand because to some people like weigh enough, I guess to most people weigh enough means like you're on the water and you're gonna weigh enough into, and you might do some type of like arms away or bodies away, and you let the boat run.
That's let it run.
That's sorry. So let it run would be like on the water. You would always let it run on the water.
Yes, that's how I learned it.
And it would mean that you were pausing somewhere, whether it's arms or bodies, and the blades would be off the water, and you'd wait for the call for the blade to be taken back down to the water.
Yes, most of the time, although I think we also use the word let it fly. So let it run would just mean like just if you're on, like you said, on the water and you just stop rowing. So you're not checking it down. You're just letting the boat run. Oh, but we would never use it on land.
Yeah.
And that was where the difference was, is that we used to use it for everything that weigh enough would be let it run. If you're walking the boat down to the dock and they say let it run, I would be like, what am I going to just let the boat keep going? I'm just going to go, okay.
That's the way I learned it when I got here, and people thought I was just crazy when I would say let it run on land. And I've developed my way enough. Way enough is just we just stop rowing. And then there's the caveat that let it run could be like we just stop rowing, or it could be some type of series of pausing and waiting for a call for blades down, or let it fly.
Yeah.
Fly, I mean, to me means gauntlet. We're going to stop rowing, we're going to gauntlet.
Yep.
And then wait for a blades down. What I think of when I hear let it fly. I use let it fly most consistently if I'm teaching starts.
Yeah.
We'll do first. We'll
First
we'll do
5.
first 5, let it fly.
Yep.
Or first 5 on 10, let it fly. Or we'll do the full thing, like a 5 on 10 with a settled 20, let it fly. That's where I'll use let it fly. I don't usually use let it fly if it's not a power thing.
Yeah. And then
You can. I throw that in there only when. Yeah, but I love the first 5, let it fly. Or yeah, I love doing that kind of stuff. That's really fun. So like when you're clicking on all cylinders, it was fun to watch the college kids do it. There's just a particular type of joy because they're really trying to work hard. They're really trying to make it happen. And then yeah, I just love it.
There was the one boat, I think it was in, oh, I can't remember if it was the Burnt Hills girls or the Shen girls. And I was watching it must have been their semifinal for the SRAs. And the winning boat let it fly across the finish line. And I just remember that the commentators were laughing at it. Okay, that's a little bit of a showed off move, but
yeah, I guess if you're winning by enough, then that will let it fly to the finish line. That's for the they must have practiced that because for the coxswains,
they must have.
You just can't call that on the fly. You'd have to practice. What are you gonna mess it up? There'll be somebody in the boat who's not completely on unless they that a couple times. So yeah, very cool.
I got to get going. I got a big day of driving and getting Keegan to the right regions and all that. So
have a safe trip.
Yeah.
Hannah has so much fun and super excited about everything. And congratulations on the graduation. I hope it's a great graduation. Thank you.
And good luck with the trip too. How long does it take from where you are to Ann Arbor?
I think it's 8 hours. I have to double check.
Oh,
so it's not, it's far.
I mean, it's a long time. Yeah,
but it's not super unreasonable. And I got to set up my podcast to listen to so that I have something to kind of keep me going. That's 8 different podcasts. I don't know if maybe there's a good mystery podcast. That's the only time I like to listen to something like that, where it's episodes that you want to have all in one spot. So sometimes I look for a little, not true crime, even though Netflix thinks I like true crime. I don't.
Oh, I love a good true crime.
I know. I always get wrapped up in it. I guess I do like true crime, but I'm like, I don't want to like a true crime. If I could do a mystery thing. Yeah, where people don't get hurt or something, but it's just like a really cool mystery. I need to find a podcast like that to listen to. That's going to be my goal.
I wish that the book, I know I don't know if we can talk about it yet, but we've got some exciting things happening. I really wish I could get that on tape because then I could or audio.
I should listen to it.
I know.
It would be great.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We'll leave that teaser in there. We got some fun stuff.
We got a book that we'll be talking about. So awesome. Safe travels, and we'll talk again next Tuesday.
Okay, sounds good. Bye, everybody.
Take care. Thanks for listening to the episode. We have partnered with the Crew Stop. Do you need new rowing gloves? Save 15% with the code ROWINGONTHESQUARE when you purchase gloves or apparel from crewstop.com. More details in the show notes. If you'd like to talk to Adrien regarding your rowing needs, check out the show notes also for her call links and her website, rowingonthesquare.com, for details. Help grow the pod and follow us on the Instagram at RowingFriendsPod. Happy rowing, everyone!